What's going on YouTube? It's Mike here. Today guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about the iPhone 6 and its new part leaks. So earlier this week, actually, some parts of a purported iPhone 6 were leaked. Now, as soon as we start seeing leaked images of a purported new iPhone or any type of mobile Apple device, or any Apple device for that matter, usually a lot of people get really excited. And I've seen them floating around like crazy, so I figured I'd make a video about it because, quite honestly, these mock-ups and maybe even potentially the actual first look at the device look pretty cool. So I give full credit to Engadget from where I'm getting the images from. However, these images have been seen on pretty much every Apple rumor site, but let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. As you can see here, the iPhone 6 itself is wrapped in a type of plastic, or at least the bottom model is, and on top of it you can see we have a very beautiful iPod Touch looking type of iPhone model. Now you can clearly see the gold on it, obviously the gold color. Obviously there will probably be some more colors as well, like white and space gray too, and you could see how the bezel is completely chopped off. When I say chopped off, there's no bezel at all on the sides. Now, quite honestly, this is a stunning looking type of mock-up or actual device itself. This looks beautiful in my opinion, considering the fact there's no space on the sides of the screen between the actual white part of the device itself and the screen. It just goes edge to edge. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, this has been rumored for a very long time, and the fact that it might actually be seen is quite possible, but at the same time it's not. It's been rumored with almost every new iPhone concept and mock-up, and we still haven't seen it. We're in 2014. The iPhone came out 7 years ago. So we've been wanting it for a long time, but actually seeing it has not been possible yet. And you could just kind of see how even the top and bottom bezels have been shortened down as well. They're not, as thick as they were before. They're a lot thinner than they were. So it really gives more space on the iPhone's actual screen. Very cool looking. And I think the bottom device right under it, it looks like a silver iPod Touch. I think it is the 16 gigabyte model that doesn't have a rear-facing camera. It could just simply be a computer designed mock-up, which a lot of people are saying were the case for this. However, if Apple does decide to use the similarity of the iPod Touch 5th generation in the iPhone 6's concept design, which is extremely thin and extremely light and so nice to use in your hands, and they just completely ditch the two-tone aluminum/glass backing type of design, that would be pretty cool. Now, Tim Cook has also confirmed that Apple is going to be using the new sapphire glass that they used in the same Touch ID fingerprint sensor that is currently present in the iPhone 5S. So, at least he finally confirmed that they actually are going to be using it in their new products, which are probably going to be the iPhone 6, as well as the iWatch, which is supposed to come out very soon, and any other new Apple products that come out from Apple themselves. And considering it's an iPhone 6 and not an S upgrade like the iPhone 5 and the iPhone 5S, it's going to jump right to a new number. It would be very cool to actually see a new design and them not kind of stick with anything. If we take a look at another image here, you could have a look. This is supposed to be the backing of the new iPhone 6, and as you can see here, one is wrapped in plastic and then the other one is the actual inside of the opened phone. I'm not really focusing on the opened back piece, but more the sealed piece. Let's have a look at that. So you can see we have the cutouts at the top for the camera, the slit microphone, and also the dual flash, which would make sense since that was introduced in the iPhone 5S. And oddly, you could see the Apple logo centered. Now, I don't think this is actually going to happen with the final iPhone 6. I think the Apple logo will be more up on the device like it is currently. Other than that, there really isn't much to it. Let's jump to the next image, which we have a much closer look at the purported front of the iPhone 6. I think that this concept looks absolutely beautiful. I hope that this is what Apple actually does wind up giving us. You can see we have kind of a side view of the top portion of the device, and then the side portion of the device, you can see the same exact buttons, the volume rockers that we have on the iPod Touch 5th generation, with an included new mute switch. And you can see the side of the top facing iPhone 6 has the little hole on the side for the SIM card slot. You could also see at the top of the phone where we have the speaker, and you could see that the front camera has once again been moved to the left portion of the device, which briefly for the iPhone 5 and iPhone 5S was moved just above the speaker. But considering the fact that they're making all bezels smaller, not just the side ones, but they're also going to even be shortening the top and bottom ones apparently, they'll have to create more room for that. and in that case, just kind of save room, I should say, and move the camera down right next to it like it was in the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S. Quite honestly, I think if Apple makes this concept, this will be an incredibly fantastic phone to be getting in September when Apple will most likely release the iPhone 6. It's super thin, it's going to be super light, obviously because of the design and what we know from the iPod Touch 5G, and it's also got a beautiful look to it. You know, it's got a nice rounded back, all aluminum, no more of that two-tone. It's got no bezels on the sides. The bezels on the top and bottom are completely shortened, and it's a sleek looking device. Now, I don't really think Apple's going to do something like this. I think they're going to stick to more of the flat, kind of squared off iPhones that they've been dealing with since like 2010, since the introduction of the iPhone 4, and I think that's what they're going to do this year too. However, I do think they're going to aim for that thinness and lightness once again, since it is going to be a completely new generation of the iPhone. Either way, I'm going to be getting the iPhone 6, but to see this type of concept would be really awesome. Now, don't get your hopes up yet. It turns out people are already considering these concepts and type of real looks at the future iPhone 6 fakes, believe it or not. As you could see here from the Engadget portion of the article on this site, you could see that the caption is, "Are the new iPhone 6 images real or fake? Let's find out." And you could actually see that the leaked images of the iPad, which was supposed to have Touch ID, has the same type of screen type of guard on it when the product first comes in, like the piece, so that it doesn't get scratched or anything. And you can actually see that it is the same type of plastic covering with the same exact bubbles on it and the same exact outlines that were put on these iPhone 6 mock-ups. Therefore, that is showing that this is not at all a real piece that was actually shipped or is in the hands of someone that shouldn't have it, and it's really Apple's property, but it actually turns out that this is just a computer rendering. Sorry to let your hopes down, guys. Even though it shares the same print as some previous models, the designer simply just being careless enough to use that same type of covering print, that does not mean that Apple will not be releasing this concept. Instead, however, it means that Apple is planning something like this, and they're doing things internally that are hinting to what a final product design looks like. However, as we get closer to the iPhone release, we're going to see a lot of different mock-ups that come out that look probably a lot different as well, and not the same as what this designer has here, but could also look very similar, and we could continue to see that up until the iPhone 6 release, and we'll be like, hey, this looks so much similar to what we originally saw. There's much potential that that could happen as well, but we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in September, or Apple could completely surprise us, as I have hope for every year, and bring the iPhone launches up to June. That would be pretty cool. I put that tip in for you, Apple. So that's it for me, guys. What do you think about these iPhone 6 mock-ups and concepts? Quite honestly, I think they're awesome. I'd love to see if Apple does something like this. However, in my final opinion, I'm just going to put this out there. I quite honestly would agree with some that this is not Apple-like at all. And what I mean by that is just the design, the way it looks. I don't see Apple doing it. Now, with previous iPhones back then, I've actually said that about concepts, and what do you know? Apple actually wound up doing them. So they could get me wrong on this one, but I just think it's entirely off in terms of what Apple does. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in September, but what do you guys think about these concepts? You like them? You hate them? Let me know down in the comments below, and of course rate this video a thumbs up, and click the subscribe button below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.